And for last, I want to thank all of you, the fans. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. All of you. Thank you. You guys are the best. Yeah.
Now that we've had a full year since David Ortiz's retirement, we have the opportunity to really reflect on his career. In years prior, it's been about what Ortiz can do. Now it's time to reflect on what he's done. The man known as Big Papi has done enough to have his number retired by the Red Sox already, and most are speculating that he has the stats to earn himself a spot in the Hall of Fame. But what if there is a bigger honor? Papi is already in some pretty exclusive clubs. With 541 home runs, he broke the 500 home run barrier, of which only 26 other players have ever done. Ortiz's number 34 is one of 11 numbers retired by the Red Sox organization. On a league-wide scale, however, more players will join the 500 club, and a collective number of more than 150 jerseys have been retired in the league. This leaves but one forever exclusive club that David Ortiz can make a case for: the face of a franchise. Throughout his time as a Red Sox player, David Ortiz was always the star of the team, but I'm talking about the all-time face of a franchise, the one person you think of when you hear that team's name. It's Rickey Henderson, Tony Gwynn, Hank Aaron, and Babe Ruth. Since his retirement after the 1960 season, Ted Williams has been that face for the Boston Red Sox, for good reason, and it's hard to think of anyone else in that position, but David Ortiz puts up a bigger fight than you'd think. I'm going to explore the careers of these two Red Sox greats and find out who deserves to be the all-time face of one of the most successful franchises in the MLB. The best way to directly compare two players is to look at their stats and see who's better. As I compared these two legends, it was clear early on who had this advantage. David Ortiz's career batting average was .286, certainly solid numbers and enough to be looked at as a Hall of Fame contender. However, the average Hall of Famer's average is .302. Ortiz's average looked even weaker next to Williams' career .344 average. That number puts Williams in a tie for 7th for all-time career batting average leaders. In terms of runs batted in, Williams is ahead of Ortiz as well. Williams had 1,839 career RBIs, good for 15th all-time, and led the league in 4 different seasons, including his rookie year. Ortiz finished with 1,768 career RBIs, placing him at 22nd all-time, and led the league in that category twice. The third big statistic for hitting is home runs, and Ortiz actually sits above Williams for home run totals. With 541 career home runs, David Ortiz tops Williams' 521. But Ted also missed close to 5 full seasons due to service in World War II, as well as the Korean War. In addition, he served our country while still in the prime of his career, as he hit more than 30 home runs the 2 years leading up to, and the 2 years following his deployment during World War II. His stint with the Navy during the Korean War shortened his age 33 and 34 seasons, both well before he retired. So yes, Ortiz has the advantage numerically, but Williams missed 5 seasons that kept him from reaching higher totals. The man, also known as Teddy Ballgame, leads Ortiz in many other statistics, such as hits, on-base percentage, the number of times one safely reached base divided by their at-bats, and total bases, the number of bases one reached safely from their hits. These are standard categories in determining how good of a hitter someone is. So that's it, right? Debate over? If Williams just crushes Ortiz with his superior stats, how can Ortiz possibly be considered the face of a franchise? Well, I don't think stats are the sole determinant for the face of a franchise. Someone can do more for a team while not providing more statistically. I'll give you an example. What is a greater number, 3 or 0? I'll give you time to think because this one's a little tricky. Okay, obviously it's 3. David Ortiz has 3 World Series rings and Ted Williams has 0. Yep, despite everything that Ted Williams did, he never brought a championship to the city of Boston. Williams was a part of the 86-year drought that David Ortiz helped end. Perhaps Teddy was just a great player caught in terrible teams. Not exactly. During his career, Williams has had significantly more all-star teammates than Ortiz did, averaging 5.5 All-Stars per year. And in 1946, the one year the Red Sox made the World Series in Williams' career, the team had 11 All-Stars, meaning that Williams never had to try and win it on his own. He was a great hitter with great teammates, but could never win the circuit, leaving a huge gap in his resume. Advantage Papi.
Where it began.
Awards and recognition are also key to determining how a player was looked at during their career, the Most Valuable Player award being the most coveted. David Ortiz, despite all of his successes, has never won an MVP. He finished in the top 5 in voting 5 times, but only cracked the top 2 once. Meanwhile, Teddy Ballgame collected 2 MVP awards in his illustrious career and finished in the top 5 9 separate times. And in the 2 seasons before and the 4 seasons after his stint in the Navy during World War II, Williams finished in the top 3 each time, meaning a few more top 5 finishes were the expectations for him during those lost seasons. But what about other awards? Well, in Williams' time, the MVP was kind of it. The Rookie of the Year award was created the year after his rookie season. The Gold Glove award given to the best defensive player at each position wasn't handed out until his career was wrapping up, and the Silver Slugger award given to the best hitter at each position wasn't established until 1980. So yes, David Ortiz has won 6 Silver Sluggers, but Williams was never given the chance. The one award both players could strive for was the MVP, and basic math again, 2 is greater than 0. Advantage Ted.
Wasn't the spring.
Fans can determine how a player is remembered. For instance, I don't know how long Billy Buckner played for the Red Sox or how well he did, but I do know he did this.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag, it gets through Buckner, here comes Knight and the Mets win it!
I also don't know how good of a career former Yankee Aaron Boone had, but I know he did this.
Bounce away in the 8th inning, leading by 3 as Boone hits it to deep left. That might send the Yankees to the World Series. Boone, a hero in Game 7.
I hate both of these players. That being said, the fans can also determine if they love you, and that can help you make your case for being the face of a franchise. Boston loves Big Papi. That may even be an understatement. He was simply a lovable guy who could crush home runs and just had a way with words.
This is our city. And nobody gonna dictate our freedom. Stay strong. Thank you.
As one of the most clutch hitters in his time, he made us believe in the Red Sox even when it looked like we were out. I mean, talk about needing a big hit in a big moment.
2 out. Hard hit into right. Back at the wall. Tie game!
The man could do it all, and the fans loved him for it. Teddy, on the other hand, wasn't so fond of the media in Boston, and that trickled down to the fans of the Red Sox as well. He did not like how they would cheer for him hitting game-winning home runs and then boo for him for errors in the outfield. Once getting to the point where he spat in the direction of the fans after they booed him in the previous inning. He was fined $5,000 by owner Tom Yawkey for the incident. While Williams could be personable in one-on-one situations, Big Papi's presence dominated the Boston sports world. Ortiz was a huge personality in the Red Sox clubhouse, and the fans loved it. I loved it. It's a huge addition to Ortiz's case for being the face of a franchise. To be remembered as the face of a more than century-old franchise, one's name and accolades have to last a while. While David Ortiz only recently retired, what he did for this team is not going to be forgotten anytime soon. His number is already retired. The 3 championships he helped win for the city will be synonymous with Papi, and he is a lock for the Hall of Fame. In addition, the name Big Papi is a part of the infrastructure of Boston. The city of Boston renamed a bridge located close to Fenway Park after the Slugger, as well as the now David Ortiz Drive in the Fenway neighborhood. Not to mention that the name Big Papi already has legendary status among baseball fans. Despite all that, Williams goes tit for tat with Ortiz for those accolades. It has already been more than 50 years since his retirement, yet Ortiz is the first challenger for his position as face of the Red Sox. Williams also has his number retired and is already in the Hall of Fame. While there will be no mention of Williams when talking of the World Series, the history of the MVP award has his name etched in it twice. The Ted Williams Tunnel was a large part of the Big Dig in Boston and runs for 1.6 miles, even going underneath the Boston Harbor. The history of Ted Williams is also a part of Fenway Park. The famous lone red seat in the right field bleachers marks the longest home run ever hit in Fenway Park. Hit, of course, by Ted Williams. The red seat measures 502 feet from home plate, and the home run was hit on June 9, 1946. More than 70 years later, and the record still stands. It's hard to believe that someone referred to as the greatest hitter who ever lived is going to go away after a while. David Ortiz has certainly been the face of this team since his arrival in 2003. What he has done for the team and the city has been amazing, and it's been really fun to watch. Papi is one of the greatest players to have passed through this historic franchise. Williams, however, is one of the greatest players to have passed through the league in all of its history. What he lacks in team success, he more than makes up for in his individual feats that mark him as the greatest hitter who ever lived. No one in Boston is going to forget the man we call Big Papi, but no baseball fan is going to leave out Ted Williams when it comes to naming the all-time greats. That is why when someone brings up the Boston Red Sox, Ted Williams will be the ballpark that everyone thinks of.
He wore the uniform of the United States Marines for 4.5 more. He owned left field at this very ballpark. He was the last man to hit 400 in a season, and he did it 58 years ago. He hit 521 home runs, including one on his last at-bat. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the greatest hitter that ever lived, number 9, Hall of Famer, baseball legend,